you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
all in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur.
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement, et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Coupe Stanley pour les Canadiens. Le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Vida TV. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro on this Wednesday, September 17. I hope everyone is doing well. Nicolas Cloutier of TVA Sport to join me in just about a minute's time, probably in about 30 minutes from now. Brendan Kelly from the Montreal Gazette. What the puck? And of course, he has a book out en français. He'll have another one out in English, and he's going to talk to us about that. He's going to talk to us about the Montreal Canadiens. I'm going to talk to you about the start of Pro Camp, which got underway earlier this morning, medicals and physicals and all of that stuff that the players probably don't like all that much because they're pedaling as fast as they can on the bike and running as fast as they can and sprinting as much as they can and lifting as much as they can. And they have to be at their very best today. They're going to have to be at their very best for the rest of the week and the rest of camp as well. We'll discuss the practice schedule, the camp schedule with you in just a couple of minutes. Not before I talk to you about Betway. If you want to get in on the action on any sport, whether it's hockey and who's going to make the playoffs or who's not, or who's going to win the Stanley Cup or who's going to win the Super Bowl, any sport, once again, basketball, you name it, go all the way with Betway. Get a free bet up to $200. First bet loses. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offers only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. And please, please play responsibly. Montreal knows good food, but nothing hits like Souvlaki Authentique. As a matter of fact, if all goes well, tomorrow, I'm going to make my way down to Souvlaki Authentique, in particular, the one in Kirkland on the West Island that just opened up a couple of weeks ago. Every stick of Souvlaki is marinated fresh. Every pita is packed with flavor. And the potatoes, oh, mamma mia, mwah, twice fried and finished with that signature lemon sauce. This is comfort food, Greek style, family run, flavor packed, and proud to serve Montreal. Go to SouvlakiAuthentique.com to find your nearest location and bring the taste of Greece home to you. And it's also brought to you by the Sick Podcast by Bittt Tibi. They launch the Ultra Lager. It's a refreshing, thirst-quenching beer, perfect for these cool fall days that we're having. What a beautiful day today was. Oof. With only 90 calories, 2 grams of carbs, 4% ABV per can, available in a pack of 6 and 12 in grocery stores all around the province of Quebec. It's ultra light, ultra refreshing. Without further ado, let's get to our guy, Nicolas Cloutier of TVA Sport. Comment vas-tu, mon chum?
Ça va bien, toi, Tony?
You're not in the newsroom tonight.
No, I'm home right now.
Good. Nick, of course, we had a chance to hear from Montreal Canadiens coach Martin St. Louis earlier today, and it was y en était question, as they say en bon français. One of the things that was talked about, of course, was who's going to be your second line center. Let's hear from Martin St. Louis.
Le départ, Docker va avoir ce trou-là, ça c'est sûr. Là, c'est lui qui va rentrer là. Mais on gère Docker au quotidien. Il revient de sa blessure. On va être calculé. Fait que je sais pas combien de games d'exhibition qu'ils vont jouer. Va-t-il être capable de scrimmager? Je suis la direction de notre medical staff, les docteurs. Mais je peux dire que Docker il est dans une très bonne forme. Puis on va être calculé. Comment qu'on l'intègre, mais on devrait voir Docker avoir l'opportunité de prendre ça.
So Marty St. Louis says, without a doubt, Kirby Dach is going to start at second line center. He's looking really good right now. At the same time, you know what? Our doctors and our medical staff are overlooking his return to play. I don't know how many games he's going to play. I don't know how many scrimmages he's going to take part in. but we're gonna try to get him ready for opening night, and he's going to be our guy. I didn't think it would be different. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be Newhook, and I didn't think it was going to be Veleno, and I didn't think it was going to be Jake Evans, and I didn't think it was going to be Oliver Kapanen.
And I hope you didn't think it was going to be Bolduc either.
And I didn't think it was going to be Bolduc.
That was crazy to me, by the way.
I was on Cogeco Radio earlier this morning.
Okay.
In Istri in Sherbrooke, and I was asked about the second line spot, and I said it's going to go to Kirby Dach. And I said, the Canadians have already mentioned that when they either draft players or they go out and they acquire players, they want to give them a period of adaptation. They're certainly not going to take a player that hasn't played center in 4 or 5 years and say, hey, by the way, this is your baptism by fire with the Canadians. You're going to go back to playing a position that you never played in the National Hockey League, and you played it 4 or 5 years ago, and we expect you to do it for us. And on top of that, perform with the Montreal Canadiens, the most pressure-packed environment, the entire National Hockey.
As a Quebecer,
I never thought that was going to happen, but I guess this has been laid to rest anyone who asked themselves the question, who will center the second line? Because it's been something everyone's been asking all summer. I never had any doubt in my mind that it was going to be Kirby Dach with the players that are there on the team. Marty St. Louis confirming it.
Yeah, you know what's funny, Tony? During the summer, I tweeted that the plan was to have Dach start at center. And why was Bolduc training with Marc Bureau, training his face-offs with Marc Bureau? Well, because the plan was for Bolduc to take the face-off when the face-off was going to be on the left side. Because Dach is a righty, as you know.
Of course.
And when I tweeted that to set the record straight, you know who texted me? Chantal. Chantal was like, thank you, Nicolas, for setting the record straight, because I'm seeing all these people throwing the idea that Bolduc is going to play at center. And like you said, like, what a bad idea that would be. It's a Quebecer. You're throwing him basically right in the fire at a position he hasn't played since QMGHL with the Oceanic. Like, why would you even do that? That would be Jonathan Drouin all over again, which you do not absolutely want to see. So you're gonna manage expectations, and you're gonna try to put him in a role that he's comfortable with right at the beginning of the season. If you want to experiment later, or perhaps when you don't have any other choice. Right now, at the beginning of the season, it was not going to happen. It was clear to me at some point when the market was so dry this summer, so dry with all these teams having cap space and not able to pull off any trade. The market was so dry, and it was obvious to me that if the Avs were not going to be able to get that second line center, it was Dach's spot. It was obvious that Dach was going to have this opportunity.
And by the way, in regards to the centers and the faceoffs that you were talking about, there's a couple of things that we have to keep in mind. Like, I've never really been worked up too much about seeing a player practice his draws. Like Juraj Slafkovsky was practicing the draws last year for many reasons, right? Number one, like you just said, if you're playing with a righty and you're a lefty, you're going to practice the draws so that you can probably get some faceoffs on the left-hand side. That's number one. Number two, it happens very often that a centerman is kicked out of the faceoff circle.
Oh, that's true.
Right? So that's another thing. Just there's different scenarios that you could be called upon. And number three, there could be a player like, for example, an Alex Newhook, who was practicing his faceoffs with Patrice Bergeron this offseason. And Alex Newhook might play center this year. Alex Newhook might play wing this year. Alex Newhook has to practice faceoffs even if he doesn't start at center, because he might end up at center. There's another guy who might end up playing with Dach at one point. You never know, right? If Dach's line doesn't produce and all of a sudden you want to shake things up and you want to put Newhook there, well, guess what? Dach is already, like you said, Newhook's a lefty. So I have no problem at all with players who are not centermen that practice their draws. And players who are centermen who might not play center during the season practice their draws. It's a good idea in either case to do so.
Yeah, it would be the same thing as telling me, hey, you know what? You're a forward, so you should not practice backward skating.
Exactly.
That's the same thing.
Yeah. So now, with that said, look, we got to put some emphasis on Kirby Dach's stats. Yeah. Let's bring up the stats because, of course, the stats have not been, unfortunately for him, early on in his career. But now we say
Except
early
for that
on.
One season. That one season when he played wing a bit with Caulfield and Suzuki, and he showed that he oozes skills, and he's great at puck protection as well.
That's the season 2022-2023, where in 58 games, he had 14 goals and 24 assists and 38 points. And that was his best season thus far in the National Hockey League. I've said this. I've gone on record as saying I'm not convinced that Kirby Dach is a number 2 centerman. I'm not convinced that Kirby Dach will become the centerman that the Montreal Canadiens brass and coaching staff are crossing their fingers that he will be. The loosest, best version of Dach I've seen with the Canadiens was in the first year when he played, like you said, with Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. And that's the best version I've seen of himself. Doesn't mean that he can't be that guy. We know that, of course, the injuries have set him back. He has never played a full season in the National Hockey League. And mind you, I think no, he's never played. I looked at the COVID year, and the COVID year was the 21. He's never played a full season in the National Hockey League. It seems like he misses games every year. Obviously, a couple of years ago, that's when he missed 80 of the 82 games. Last year, he missed 25 games. But if he could stay healthy, like we don't. Do we really know who Kirby Dach is unless he has a season of 82 games?
Say. You know what, Tony? I'm a glass half full kind of guy. And let me explain. I think this is a great thing that Dach is actually starting this season as a second-line centerman. Again, let me explain. You're going to need some answers. Dach is at the end of his contract. Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton, they're very sensitive to this thing called asset management. Even more so, I think, than Marc Bergevin was. So they need to know what kind of asset they have before taking any bold decision in regards to Kirby Dach, which would be extending him or trading him. You do not. The last thing you want to do when you have an asset is to not be able to properly judge its value. And now you're going to get some answers. This is the year to get some answers. So he starts at second line center. Now, if he starts well, the picture is not as murky. And you know what? Either you get to the conclusion that he plays well, even though he suffered last year a second serious injury in a row. So you can market that to the other teams. You can say, hey, you know what? Under difficult circumstances, he came back this year and he showed he can play. So then if you're not in the race at the deadline, you can market him. If you're in the race and he's a big reason why at the end of the year, well, you know what? You go back to his camp and you ponder the options. You see if he's open to another bridge. That would be time with Michael H. development, and now you have options. But it's very important for him to start the year actually as the second line centerman, because you need to know the asset. And right now, I feel like you don't have those answers.
And you're right about that. And the Canadiens have been looking for a bridge between now and the time that that Michael H. takes over. And what if the answer was internal? And, this whole Crosby talk has excited so many people, and who knows, it might happen, it might not.
Well, the GM is actually monitoring this, by the way. This is not as crazy as it sounds. The only thing that is crazy is expecting Crosby to ask to be moved, because his loyalty has no bounds.
Well, I get that. But once again, I know Crosby said what he said to the media yesterday. But let's keep in mind as well that his agent, Pat Brisson, said, Sidney Crosby has to be playing playoff hockey, right? He's missed the playoffs the last 3 years. Brisson didn't say that for no reason. He said that for a particular reason. So anyway, once again.
What's changed? He was perfectly fine with missing the playoffs. Not fine, but you know what I mean. He stayed in Pittsburgh even though they missed the playoffs for, 3 years in a row?
Yeah.
So when we're talking about his loyalty, I mean, it seems pretty high to me. If you're willing, as competitive as he is, to stay there,
Yeah.
During all this mess.
But he probably said to himself 3 years ago, you know what? Let's wait to see if I see a light at the end of the tunnel. And 3 years later,
maybe
he sees that a lot of young players, prospects, draft picks have been traded away from the Penguins organization. He probably takes a look at their cap situation. He probably takes a look at the rest of the league, the rest of the division, the rest of the conference, and says, you know what? We're not going anywhere. And look, an amazing career. And missing the playoffs for the next couple of years, should he, in Pittsburgh, will not change any of that. Because once again, he had so many records, unbelievable leader, 3 Stanley Cups, but it just wouldn't seem right for Sidney Crosby to miss the playoffs for 5 years in a row, the final 5 years of his career.
Oh, that would actually be 5. Okay, I counted 3 years in a row without playoffs.
3 years in a row.
So that was 4.
He's got 3 years in a row, and he's got 2 more years left on his contract. So imagine they miss out. If he's in Pittsburgh and they miss out the next 2 years, he's going to finish his career missing the playoffs 5 years in a row. Doesn't sound right, Nick.
No, you can't accept that. You're just saying.
I don't think so. So Kirby Dach, there's that big question mark that he hasn't played a whole season. I have a question mark that I ask myself if he's really a better centerman than he is a winger.
Mm-hmm.
Other than he hasn't played a whole season, do you have the same question mark as I do regarding if he's a centerman or a winger?
Yeah.
Do you have other question marks?
Well, many question marks. Tony, it was a black hole at 5-on-5 last year. At 5-on-5, and this is not an opinion, by the way. Like, if you look at the analytics, he was one of the worst players in the NHL 5-on-5. So that is concerning. Now, that was him playing center last year, because last year he basically never played wing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a concern. But again, big injury. So he kind of had that excuse, and it's not an excuse. It's a real concern, because that was a serious injury. And when your knee is not 100%, that's kind of a death sentence for a hockey player, because you don't have the lateral mobility. You don't have all those things. And I understand that. But then he suffered an injury of the same nature. So those concerns come back again. Like, in what shape will he be back? How much was he able to train during the summer? So many question marks. But again, when you have all these question marks, you need answers. And you were not going to be able to get those answers if you were not putting him in a good spot. And the positive thing, Tony, is if you compare his line mates last season to what his line mates are projected to be this season, it's night and day. Now he can have like a guy like Laine or Bolduc on the left wing, and then Demidov on the other wing, or whichever wing it may be. You can switch them up, but the bottom line is Bolduc, Laine, or Demidov as wingers. That sounds great to me. So the supporting cast will be much, much, much better. Now, if he does not produce under those circumstances, you have your answer.
I asked Jeff Gordon, I don't know if we have the clip, maybe Shane Gaumont could get it, and if we don't, it's okay. I asked Jeff Gordon at the Canadiens golf tournament about wingers who drive lines, because last year, if you recall, when he spoke to us and we asked him about going out and potentially acquiring a second line centerman, he said, yeah, you know what? We'll be on the lookout always. We're always looking to improve our team. But, it doesn't necessarily have to be a centerman if we can bolster that top six. And he says, some teams have players that actually, are wingers who drive the line. And obviously he didn't give out any names, but I mean, we know who they are. Like Kirill Kaprizov drives a line. Nikita Kucherov can drive a line. Mitch Marner can drive a line. There are other players. I mean, if there's some that come to your mind, but
Artemi
Panarin,
Demidov, he can drive a line.
Yeah. And so I asked him, I said, do you think he can drive a line? Panarin's another guy I was thinking of. I said, do you think he could drive a line, or do you think it's probably putting too much on him at the age of 19/20? And his answer was something to the effect of, Can he drive a line? Yes, we believe that he can drive a line. Can he do it as early as this season? I don't know. We'd have to wait and see. Would it be too much to ask? He said Lane Hudson dominated hockey at 20.
Yeah, these guys are special, Tony. Lane Hudson, would you have figured you would play like at the end of last year when the games really mattered? Would you have predicted he would play like 22, 23 minutes a night? Well, he did.
No, I wouldn't have predicted.
And at his size.
There must have been so many people that thought for sure the Canadians were going to go. I was one. I thought the second I heard that Lane Hudson made the team, I thought they were going the Leo Carlsson way of load management with Lane Hudson.
I thought that too at some point.
And I
thought that too. And let me tell you what, Lane Hudson, Ivan Demidov is entering this season with better caller odds than Hudson did last year.
You know the advantage that he has? He's got an advantage besides the fact that he's great.
Size.
No, but he's got another advantage besides the fact that he's great and size.
Professional hockey.
He's got a guy in his locker room who just did it. Lane Hudson.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to lean on him for some advice, on certain situations. And I think Lane Hudson, who just did it, is going to be able to give great advice. And Lane Hudson, being a great team guy that he is, I bet you that he will encourage Demidov. I bet you that he will push Demidov. I bet you that, he'll be...
It's already happening, Tony.
Yeah.
Already happening. Like, these guys were on the ice, like, 24/7 in Brossard this summer. So it's already happening. They're already pushing each other. And the thing is, Lane Hudson, when he came to the NHL, he had not played professional hockey. Even Demidov did, and he was great. So he already has a leg up on Hudson before he even starts his career, in my opinion. And Hudson did great. So
I want to. I'm going to talk to you about Laine, but before we do, I want to throw out a communique the Canadians sent out, of course, regarding the pro camp, and there's one regarding the 60 players. All right, and there you have it. The Montreal Canadiens announced yesterday that 60 players will participate in the team's 2025 training camp. The camp opened earlier today at the CN Sports Complex in Brossard, of course, with physical and medical examinations. It will run until Saturday, October 4th, in preparation for the season opener on October 8th against the Maple Leafs in Toronto. 60 players include 34 forwards, 19 defensemen, and 7 goaltenders. A total of 42 players have NHL contracts and 16 players have AHL contract. One player will be invited on a trial basis, and one is not signed to a contract. And there you have it. So who are the players? Yeah. If we can bring up some names. All right, okay. I put the roster.
There's like
up there.
16 AHL contracts in there as well. So there will be like this roster is gonna take shape like really quick. Like you're gonna see a lot of cuts like early in this camp. So, you start with what, like 60 players, but like most of those players, I don't want to say that they're filling a shirt, but they have virtually no chance to make the team. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Why don't we go with this? I put up the chart, but very difficult to read the names. So Josh Anderson, Vincent Arsenault, Owen Beck, Alex Belzil, Samuel Blais, Zachary Bolduc, Cole Caulfield, Lucas Condotta, Kirby Dach, Laurent Dauphin, Jared Davidson, Ivan Demidov, Will Deneen, Joseph Dunlap, Marcus Stappa, Jake Evans, Sean Farrell, Brendan Gallagher, Igor Gorionov, Oliver Kapanen, Riley Kidney, Patrik Laine, and Philip Méchard, as well as Israel Mianska.
Let's look at the defense eventually, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there in a second. Vincent Rohrer, Joshua Roy, Xavier Simoneau, Juraj Slafkowski, Nick Suzuki, Tyler Thorpe, Luke Tuck, Joe Veleno, and Florian Jacquet. Speaking of the defense, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Alexandre Carrier, Nathan Clermont, Mark Del Gaizo, Noah Dobson, Adam Ekstrom, Caden Gooley, Lane Hudson, Joshua Jacobs, Derek Louis-Jean, Charles Martin, Mike Matheson, Ryan O'Rourke, Toby Paquette-Bisson, and Owen Protz, who at one point, I don't want to say much because I think you did a story on him, so I think we can actually have a podcast on that.
Of course.
I just want to mention one thing. He reminds me of Romanov.
Yeah. You know what? His coach told me Ruslan Saleh, but Romanov is an even better example because he's more fresh in our minds. The way he times his hits and the frame, lots of similarities as well. Yeah, and you don't have that. Like Jacky is a great physical presence, but you're talking about a guy that can really line up the open ice hit, which is a skill in itself.
It's a skill.
You don't have that right now in your lineup.
Another Montreal Canadian who used to do it really well was Alexei Yemelin. He drove Milan Lucic absolutely nuts. Okay, so with a healthy Dach and a Laine and a Demidov, do you believe that Demidov will be the playmaker on the line?
Yeah, 100%. He's gonna. You let him have the puck, and you make sure your stick is on the ice at this point. He's gonna drive the line totally, 100%. The things you saw him do at the prospect tournament, I think he can pull these moves in the NHL as well, and these are gonna work, 100%.
The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, a leading full-service logistics provider serving all North America, driven to be different. They're a top fleet employer in Canada. ShipEnergy.com is their website. You go and check them out. The Sick Podcast is brought to you in part by Playground. Winning Wednesday is the ultimate midweek experience for players age 50 and up. Start your day with a $5 breakfast as of 7 a.m. Take your shot at winning your age in cash with hourly draws until 3 p.m. Don't forget to claim your free play available until 10 p.m. Wednesdays were made for winning only at Playground. All right, okay. Here's Martin Saint-Louis on Patrik Laine.
Yeah, that was interesting.
En voyant tout le travail qu'il a accompli cet été, on pourrait assister à la meilleure version de Patrik Laine. Seeing all the work that he put in this summer, we might see the best version of Patrik Laine. Let's bring up Patrik Laine's stats. Patrik Laine, in his second complete season in the National Hockey League, had his career high 44 goals and 70 points. That happened back in 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
Patrik Laine hasn't had seasons of 30-plus goals since 2018, 2019. It should be noted that his 20 and 52 last year with the Canadiens averages out to 32 goals in an 82-game season. Nicolas Cloutier, will Patrik Laine surpass the 30-goal, hit the 30-goal mark, or surpass it, or surpass the 30-goal mark for the first time since 2017, 2018?
So he's healthy, and he plays with Demidov all year. Do we agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay, if we agree on that, yes.
That's his chair. That's the chair.
Yeah,
like if he ends
he's
up
gonna fight with Bolduc. He's gonna fight with Bolduc. Bolduc's a much better skater. He might be more efficient 5-on-5, so he's gonna battle for that spot with Bolduc. But if you tell me, Tony, all season long, this guy plays with Demidov at 5-on-5, he hits 30 goals easily. Yeah, perhaps 40.
So I believe that, a season is long. There's 82 games. There's going to be 17 back-to-backs. Some guys are going to hit a wall. Some guys are going to go into slumps. The Canadian season last year was a roller coaster. It was up and down and all that stuff. I believe at one point we're going to see Bolduc on the second line, right?
Oh, maybe even at the start of the season. This is going to be a battle of training camp.
You believe so? So
yeah,
if it's a battle at camp and Bolduc wins it right away, because I think Laine will be given the benefit of the doubt. But
Have you seen Bolduc's shot?
I know
his shot is amazing as well, and he skates better. So this is going to be a battle. And no disrespect to Patrik Laine, by the way.
But if you put Laine on a line that's not the second, what can he give you?
Balance scoring. It will be my answer. You balance out the scoring. Yeah.
So he's going to end up getting 10 minutes of 5-on-5 plus power play time.
And you know what, Patrik Laine, I actually met him with his wife at the Mad Festival over the summer. he seemed it's in such a good headspace. He was happy. He was just chilling. He seemed like he had not a worry in the world. And one thing that they told me at the event too is that he was really, really locked in his training. Didn't miss a lot of skates in Brossard, and we saw the tape like pretty much every day. He was on the ice with Demidov, which is really encouraging. And what people forget is that Patrik Laine did not produce 5-on-5 last year, but historically, he produced 5-on-5. And I'm not saying he's great defensively 5-on-5, but offensively, he has a history of producing also at 5-on-5, not only on the power play. He was almost at the point per game clip in Columbus, and that was not solely power play production. So if he gets going 5-on-5, that is a really huge boost to the Habs offense right away, Tony.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah, go ahead.
Give me your goal and assist and point predictions for Patrik Laine.
Okay. 35 goals, 30 assists, 65 points.
That's a great season.
It's a great season. And he might be second line, third line, second line, third line. They're going to have balanced lines. St. Louis likes balanced lines.
Do the same before I let you go. Brendan Kelly standing by for Kirby Dach.
Oh, God. Oh, God. I hate this. I'm going to say if he plays with Demidov, I mean, he cannot not produce, and he has skills, and he can protect the puck. So I'm going to say 15 goals, 40 assists. So
55
that
points?
would be 55 points. Sorry. 15 goals, 40 assists. And I'm being conservative.
Yes. All right. So you gave me 55 points for Dach and 65 points for Laine. If they hit that, the Canadiens are going to make the playoffs with like 3-4 weeks left in the season. They won't have to wait until the final game.
Yeah, but some teams are going to get better, are going to be better than last year. You have to account for that.
Hard to think the Rangers will be worse. Nick Cloutier, always a pleasure. And I'll have you on soon to talk about some prospects because you're absolutely great at that too. Merci beaucoup.
Merci, Tony. Let's talk about the defense too. Going to be a hard battle.
We will do that. Let's bring in Brendan Kelly of the Montreal Gazette and What the Puck. And of course, he's an author. There he is. What's going on?
I'm doing great, Tony. You know, we're launching a new book on the Habs in a couple of weeks. So exciting times.
Now, for those who are unaware, you've launched the book in French already.
Correct. So the short version of the story is the book came out last year in French, Le CH et son peuple. We talked about it on the podcast, on the radio, I think. And now we're doing an English version. There you go.
That's nice.
Habs Nation. And it's a Habs Nation, A People's History of the Montreal Canadiens. Baraka Books is putting it out October 1st. I mean, it's basically the same book. I mean, I think our English listeners will be interested to know the only thing I did, because the book is really about the history of the team with its relationship with Quebec, which is mostly with French Quebec, because that's most of what Quebec is. But I added a chapter, because it's in English, on the ties between the team and English Montreal. And that was really interesting. So, talk to PJ Stock, who works a lot in the French media like you do, and talking about the differing perceptions in English and French. But it's, this is where we get to launch the book, to go out to English Montreal, English Quebec, but also to all of Canada, and even in the United States, for hockey fans there who are interested in the history of the most storied franchise in hockey. I mean, if you're interested in the history of hockey, then you're interested in the history of the Montreal Canadiens, because they're the team with the greatest story, right?
The book launch is when?
Book launch is open to the public, hoping you're coming. I know you came to the launch last year. Thursday, October 2nd at Maison Publique McLean's, which is the newer McLean's pub just above St. Catherine Street, at 5:30 to 8 o'clock on Thursday, October 2nd. I'll be there signing books. You buy a book, you get a free beer and a forum-style hot dog. I mean, that sounds like a good deal, right?
What time is that at again?
5:30 to 8 o'clock.
5:30 to 8 o'clock.
October 2nd.
It sounds like it's going to be a great night. And look, I haven't looked at my schedule. I think I'm doing television at 5:30 to 6 o'clock. But if my schedule is free after 6, you know that I'll be there. I'll get in touch with you and I'll let you know. When Marc Bergevin was here, and when Marc Bergevin was here, of course, a lot of people can remember some of your articles, What the Puck, and at times you really laid down the law. You weren't always happy with the Montreal Canadiens general manager. Jeff Molson tells members of the media and the fan base a couple of days ago at the Montreal Canadiens golf tournament that he's in contract talks for an extension with Executive Vice President of Hockey Ops Jeff Gordon and Montreal Canadiens general manager Kent Hughes. Does Brendan Kelly give his approval to that? Or
I do, because you know what the reality, Tony. And I mean, I was rough on the Canadiens, but I was really rough on Marc Bergevin. I didn't like him as a general manager, and we were two of the more critical people about Marc Bergevin. I don't think he did a good job, and I think
he did some good things.
Of course, he did some good things, but I mean, I think you would agree that if we compare the Bergevin era to the era that started basically in the fall of 21 with Jeff Gordon and then with Kent Hughes. I've been pretty positive, and I wrote a What the Puck in the Gazette today and published this morning or last night saying, look, there is more excitement right now about this team than there has been at any time in the last 25 years. So I think all of the pieces are in play. We'll see what happens with the team. But no, I think there's no surprise that Jeff Molson is trying to sign a contract to extend Gordon and Hughes, because they have done a great job. They've also done things that didn't turn out. They've made mistakes. Not many. No, you were talking about one of the mistakes just now, but that's
what's that?
Docker. Yeah. I mean, I think that probably was a mistake, but look, might turn around. But in general, look at Demidov, looks like a phenom. Imagine this: the Canadiens might win 2 straight Calder trophies. People are suggesting that Demidov is a leading candidate for the Calder. And keep in mind, Tony, as you well know, when Wayne Hudson won the Calder trophy this past season, it was the first time a Hab won it since Ken Dryden in 1972.
Yeah. To Bergevin's defense, he did not go the way of a rebuild, which would have bought him some time and would have given him the opportunity to finish in the cellar and be able to draft very low. I don't know whether he asked for the rebuild or not, or whether he was told it was not an option at the time. I'd like to find out. At the same time, Marc Bergevin came in when the Canadiens had the 3rd pick overall in the draft. And unfortunately for him, Alex Galchenyuk was not the right pick in that draft. And years later, when he also had the number 3 pick again, unfortunately, Jesperi Kotkaniemi was not the number 3 player in that draft as well.
But let's be fair. I mean, it's like, it's not unfortunate. He had 2 number 3 picks, so that's on Marc Bergevin, and it's also on Trevor Timmins. They twice made the wrong pick. I mean, and you could say they were unlucky, but twice they had a number 3 pick. And look we've got a number 5 pick. They got a number 5 pick in Demidov, and we'll see how it turns out. But everyone is thinking, Bob Hartley, who saw him play in the KHL, said he's the best pick they've had since Guy Lafleur. So you can't afford to get 2 number 3 picks wrong, and I think it's partly on Trevor Timmins, but at the end of the day, the general manager has to make the call, and
general manager has final say, like you said. Now, having said that, another thing that I think didn't work out for him is that I think Marc Bergevin had a knack of being able to add individual pieces and could win trades.
Correct.
But except for that year where he basically went all in once and they made it to the final, he was never able to put together an extremely competitive team for an extended period of time. At the same time, the injury to Carey Price and his health or lack thereof thereafter kind of changed the game. So you got to get a little lucky too. But they had some competitive teams. They had some not so competitive teams. They had some good contracts. He had some bad ones. His good move obviously was Suzuki, whether it was planned or not. But I will tell you this, Marc Bergevin told me before he left, he said, if I happen to leave the Montreal Canadiens, I'm happy that I'm going to be leaving them with Nick Suzuki, because he's going to be their number 1 center for a very long time. And when he gave Suzuki that contract, the $7.875 million per season, some thought that it was too much too soon. And instead, worked out pretty well.
Well, look, I mean, Nick Suzuki, and I mean, I think if you look at the team that they have now, and yes, granted, Suzuki came in that Pacioretty trade. All reports were that wasn't the player the Habs were looking for. But look, he got 89 points. I mean, one of the best points totals in 20, 25 years for a Montreal Canadian. And if you look at what they have in place, I mean, they have a young core that is all signed for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Of course, Lane Hudson isn't, but we all know he will be signed for a long-term deal. So you haven't had a team like that with really strong players, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, obviously Demidov, Caulfield, now Noah Dobson, all signed long-term, and Hudson will be signed, obviously. That, I mean, I'd say you'd have to go back to the 70s, Tony, to see a core like that. So this is fans are very excited about this team, and they're excited with good reason. And when you talk to Mark Bergevin, the real thing is, and I mean, I'm not saying anything that most everyone else isn't saying, is Jeff Gorton and Kent Hughes, they had a plan when they came in, and they've stuck to that plan. Martin St. Louis has stuck to the plan, and it's worked out. And I mean, we'll see how far they go this year. Will they really get deep into the playoffs? But the point is, they have a plan. It's a coherent plan. They followed the plan. Much of it's worked out. When I say there's been missteps, the two that are obvious, and again, I'm not saying anything that everyone knows. Newhook and Dach right now look like missteps. They built.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, no, it's hard.
Right now, they're missteps. I mean,
I can't argue with that. I mean, Newhook came off a 15-goal season, but at the same time, I think it's safe to say when they made those moves that they expected Newhook and Dach to produce a lot better than they have. They thought Dach was going to be the number one center, and you guys were just talking about that. And today, Martin St. Louis said he is going to start as the number one center. No surprise. Number two center.
Sorry, number two center.
Yes.
Yeah. But so they said they're going to do that, but will it work out? It has not worked out up until now. Will it work out? My feeling is it won't. I mean, my feeling is that if you look at Kirby Dach's entire career in the NHL, it's not been super successful up until now.
They say, you know what? Sometimes it takes centerman a while to look. And if this guy didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all. So let's just cross our fingers that he's healthy and so that he can play 82 games for the first time in his career. And let's see what he can do. It's obviously the motivation is going to be there because the pride has to kick in. He's got to look at himself in the mirror, know that he can do more. And it's going to take everything out of him after coming back after 2 ACL injuries, surgeries. It'll take a lot. If he's able to rebound and respond nicely, well, then all the credit goes to him. And we'll see what happens. Once again, it's a book in English. The French version came out already. Habs Nation, A People's History of the Montreal Canadiens, written by Brendan Kelly. And the launch is going to be Thursday, October 2nd from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Maison Publique's McLean's at 1420 Peel Street, downtown Montreal. Brendan Kelly, thank you very much, and congratulations on the book, bud.
I really appreciate the support, Tony, and if you're a Habs fan, you'll want to read the book, really.
You have my support every time. Cheers, man. Thanks for doing this. All right, there you have it, Brendan Kelly. Special thanks to all of our sponsors, and I so appreciate their support as well. Thank you to Energy Transportation Group. Thank you to Playground. Thank you to Bittt TV. Thank you to Souvlaki Authentique. And thank you to Betway. Special thanks to Shane Gaumont on Master Control. And if you like the podcast tonight, leave us a 5-star review. It's our way of feeling the love. It's a sick podcast, weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm Marinaro.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow The Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. LaBita.tb, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.